Melee weapons in zombies are a lot more overpowered than you think. I spent a whole day testing all 9 melee weapons that are currently in the game, and these are the top 3 that do over 231,000 damage in a single hit. Before we begin, these are the perks and their augments that I was using, which did alter the hit speed and damage of the melee weapons, as well as the elemental weakness damage output. Starting off with number 3, we have the Katana. This weapon does a max damage of 44,160 per normal hit, and a max damage of 77,280 per normal hit with an enemy's elemental weakness. And this is where things get interesting. If you click the aim down sights button, which on controller is the left trigger, you can actually perform a heavy attack. The heavy attack for the Katana does a max damage of 132,480 per heavy hit, and a max damage of 231,840 per heavy hit with an enemy's elemental weakness. Now, heavy hits do have a downside of a slower melee speed than normal hits, so when it comes to attack speed, the Katana can do about 24 normal hits in 10 seconds, which produces 1,854,720 damage, and this is of course with an enemy's elemental weakness. It can also do 12 heavy hits in 10 seconds, which produces 2,782,000 damage, and once again, this is with an enemy's elemental weakness, so for zombies, just melee normally, but with special and elites, definitely use the heavy hits. So with those things in mind, this melee is better than any other melee in the game besides the other 2 on this list, which coming in at number 2 are the Nunchakus. This weapon does a max damage of 44,160 per normal hit, and a max damage of 77,280 per normal hit with an enemy's elemental weakness. As for the heavy hits, it does a max damage of 132,480 per heavy hit, and a max damage of 231,840 per heavy hits with an enemy's elemental weakness. By now, I'm sure you noticed that the damage outputs are actually the same as the Katana, but the difference here is the hit speed and hit range of the 2. The Nunchakus have a medium hit range, while the Katana has a short hit range, and the Nunchaku's hit speed goes as follows: 31 normal hits in 10 seconds, which produces 2,395,680 damage, and this is with an enemy's elemental weakness, and it does 11 heavy hits in 10 seconds, which produces 2,550,240 damage, and this is also with an enemy's elemental weakness. So when compared to the Katana, the Nunchakus have a better melee range and a way faster normal hit speed. The only thing the Katana has over the Nunchakus is that its heavy melee speed is slightly faster than the Nunchakus by 1 extra hit in 10 seconds of heavy meleeing. And when it comes to gameplay with the Nunchakus, you'll melee zombies normally and obviously use heavy hits against specials and elite enemies. Now for the number 1 spot, we have the Sais. These are hands down the best melee weapon out of the current bunch, and it's not even close. This melee does a max damage of 76,800 per normal hit, and a max damage of 134,400 per normal hits with an enemy's elemental weakness. So far, this melee is already the best, and this is just off of normal hits. So when it comes to heavy hits, it does a max damage of 100,320 per heavy hit, and a max damage of 175,560 per heavy hit with an enemy's elemental weakness. Those heavy hit damage outputs are the worst out of the top 3, so how is this melee weapon better? Well, it can do 30 normal hits in 10 seconds, which produces a whopping 4,032,000 damage when using an enemy's elemental weakness. As for heavy hits, it can do 11 heavy hits in 10 seconds, which produces 1,931,160 damage when using an enemy's elemental weakness. So if you didn't notice by now, you do not need to use the heavy attack on the Sais, nor do you want to. It can produce over 2 million more damage in 10 seconds by just meleeing normally as opposed to using the heavy attack. The Sais normal hit damage is also the highest out of all the current melee weapons, making it a one-hit kill on zombies forever, as the zombies max health in BO6 is 50,000 starting on round 55. The Sais will also kill elites and specials faster than any other melee with just its normal attacks, as long as you have the enemy's elemental weakness. Overall, it has the best normal damage output, the best enemy elemental weakness damage output, it has the second fastest melee speed, just slightly, and I mean slightly slower than the Nunchakus, and it has some of the fastest movement speed, if not the fastest out of all the melee weapons. All those things are what make the Sai the king of all melee weapons. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the top 3. This took an incredibly long time to make, so if you could show the video some love just a little bit, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.